Can you, okay, we're gonna start some of the innovation panels over here. So, Jerry, why don't you introduce yourself? See what do you do on the blockchain? Thank you very much. Thank you. Great panel was the last panel. We're gonna probably two more panels, but this is these young people, the innovation panel, and Jerry's gonna tell you what does he do, what has he been doing in blockchain, how long he's been involved. He's a programmer, and thank you. Go ahead, Jerry.
Sure. Hi, my name is Jerry Chai. I am a blockchain application layer engineer. So I build specific features. Like companies approach me and say, hey, we want to do this and that on the blockchain. Is it possible to build that right now? And I provide consulting or just write the code for them, depending on how viable I think different projects are. So that's what I do.
You've been working on some Ethereum also, so you're going to tell later.
Yeah, a lot of the things I build are on Ethereum network because that's the most versatile and mature ecosystem right now. There's also some Stellar stuff, but Stellar is kind of limited in that it's only good for payment-related applications. It has like a very fast block time, so you can use Stellar if you have maybe like a banking app or something, but Ethereum is general purpose. You can build a lot of different use cases using Ethereum.
Yeah, so Puya, why don't you introduce yourself? Oh, you got to be top.
Well,
yeah, then top, yeah, good.
I'm Puya Nasseri. So I'm actually in a commercial real estate world for about like 15 years now. I started from construction project management, and then moved on to development, asset management, portfolio management. So what I'm doing right now is like mostly like portfolio management, real estate portfolio management. And I see like a huge opportunity combining whatever we do, like from the beginning, commercial real estate, and to going to disposal, with having applications using the blockchain technology, because commercial real estate and the real estate in general and construction are very like old-fashioned industries. They're least automized industries. So whatever I'm working on it as like for project management is whatever I know when I graduated from college 20 years ago. So nothing has happened in between. And then the problem that I see, and then which is also opportunity, is we lose mostly like information, and we don't have a system to we don't have a system that like different entities and all this like engaged parties work on one asset, and then the record will be kept for 100 years or like even 20 years. We lose everything. Like in real estate, like 95% of information will get lost in a matter of couple of years. You cannot track it back mostly. You just lose it. It's not there.
So the real estate, and Jerry, you're working at a commercial real estate solution, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Solution for the processes. I'm mostly interested to work on internal, and then processes, and somehow like digital identity for properties.
Uh-huh.
So yeah,
We were talking
like
before. You said that one of the industries that has not been, changed, the real estate.
Nothing, and there are like painful processes, very inefficient processes involved in real estate, from the construction to a property management.
Now here comes Jerry. Jerry, you have a solution. And I'm going to ask later on what you've been working, because I know you're working a couple of very exciting projects. So what's the solution here as a programmer, as somebody who's not only a programmer, you're a visionary, I've seen talking to, and that's why we're here.
Well, it really depends on the specific use case of what you want to do, because I hear a lot of people trying to put their project and somehow have it to do with blockchain, and many times it's like a really far-fetched or contrived idea that doesn't, like blockchain is not a silver bullet. It's not a good solution for everything, okay? But I've heard people coming up to me, it's like, hey, just like, get me on the blockchain so I can raise money. I mean, just because blockchain has buzz. Well, like you gotta think exactly what features you want to implement on the blockchain. And, you know, depending on what you want, there's different solutions that could exist today, or maybe there are solutions that would exist if certain protocols become mature enough. You know, it's a very case-by-case basis. You can't just have a general, we're a blockchain company, and just that doesn't solve any of your problems. So,
no, you're right, Jerry. Because even the latest, you know, a lot of companies in the market, you know, NASDAQ or NYSE, the SEC stopped them to using the blockchain, you know, just putting the blockchain name out in front of them. And we have nothing to do with blockchain. I agree with you about that. That is not everybody's solution. But you, both of you, working on something that has to do with the real estate. And tell us about this movie business that you're doing about what's going on, what's the problem there, what are you doing on that?
okay, so for that one, I'm trying to build an investment platform that allows investors to just invest in movies or movie studios. So like, I think investment platform is a very good use case of blockchain right now, as like it's actually achievable with the current level of technology that we have. Because like with you can buy these tokens that are definitely security tokens, they're asset backed. Whether the asset, it could be real estate, it could be you want to invest in a set of companies, or even if you want to just invest in individual projects like movies. It used to be such a logistical nightmare to do something like that. But with blockchain, because you can track all the transaction and you can track who did what really easily, using the transparent property of the blockchain and the immutability property of the blockchain, this is a very good use case. Well, I mean, it's still somewhat centralized in that there's still a company managing those assets, and you know, they probably have to, like, if they sell this token, it would be a token. It would be something that's similar to stock. Maybe you don't have voting rights, but you can get dividends if investors putting money. You know, that's pretty valid using case. But like another good use case for blockchain, I think, besides investing, is tracking or supply chain. Keeping records is something that blockchain is really good at, because you can see things when things change state, when a value change. All that is very apparent to everybody. So it's hard to lie or commit fraud on a blockchain, because everyone see that you listed this property at $1 million and then a week later you change it to whatever, 5 million, and that's like really easy to catch.
Because so you're working on that, and this is one of the applications that blockchain will help. That's what you see it over there. So it's not everybody wants to do the ICOs and blockchain. It's just a buzz out there, and there's a lot of them, and I can say a lot of them are fraud in a way. I mean, I'm going to be one of the first people to tell you that right here, because we check them out. You know, it's like startup all over again. I mean, then this is something like a different situation, but some of the application of blockchain would work, like you're saying that.
Yeah, like tokens, especially utility tokens, sometimes you really have to evaluate the use cases of each token, because a lot of times I think the tokens they're completely useless. They're just like riding the buzz. You know, you're selling people these tokens, but then when I ask them, what does this token do in your platform? You know, you'd be surprised at how many people don't have an answer to that. You know, I've heard very good answers, and I've heard very crappy answers too.
No, that's good. And we talk about it. Even when they raise the money, so we'll raise about $5 million, $10 million. how can they cash it to the fiat? I mean, it's hard to go and you can get only $15,000 a week or month on the, Coinbase, but, they talk about the value of the money. We have millions, but how can they cash to pay the bills?
Yeah,
Huh?
Also to pay taxes.
Exactly, paying the
Yeah.
taxes. So, when you hear somebody said, we raised about $20 million, $20 million of what? Of, monopoly money or?
I think people are raising money right now. Because the space was so hot last year, everyone's just like, let's raise money now and figure it out later. Right now, 30% of all ethers are being locked up by ICOs, as in like they raised the money in ether, but they're not sure how to exactly liquidate, turn that into fiat. If you find I'm a software engineer. If you want to pay me in ether, I understand the value of ether, great. But if you just raised, money for your construction app and you're trying to pay your like roofer in ether, it's probably gonna get a hell no. So
Yeah. So here's the point, and we got to wrap it up here, and I appreciate it because this is the technology and innovations over there. So you guys not particularly want to be in ICOs raising money. You're looking for a solution, and you have a solution, IP solution for blockchain, for real estate, commercial real estate, because you see a problem, decentralized, help them, transparency, help them, correct?
Yeah, right. For instance, like we have REITs, Real Estate Investment Trust.
Okay.
In financial markets, like their market cap is $1 trillion. And then they're mostly like having rental properties. So they have to maintain all these properties in order to have, keep their like shares and then share prices like going up. Efficiency matters to these companies a lot. So, and then the way they're all like real estate companies dealing with these processes, and then all the different departments controlling part of the process, and even like lost in connection or like information flow within the companies. These are costly, and then there are like people manually tracking everything, and still cannot control everything. Like properly.
that's a good use case for the blockchain, is to keeping track of records and having a public ledger that everyone has access to. But if any change is made on this ledger, the party responsible will be held accountable to this update. Like, this is the only way to like ensure that everyone will be on board with using the same system, right? But because if like I make an app that I have absolute control of, like I can update the data however I want, nobody knows about it, then how do you convince people who might not share the same interests with you to use that app? But if it's kind of even though the input and the ability to modify this ledger might be permission, as in you have to show your identity to be able to use it. But if you can keep track of those identity, you can hold different parties accountable using blockchain technology.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We're going to wrap it up. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your work. And
Thank you for inviting
we have this panel. I wanted to, kind of sit, and I'm sitting here as not that organizer, as someone which I go and travel and speak in a lot of different conferences and, moderate. And I'll tell my opinion. I don't believe in any of these things except blockchain technology. To be honest, I haven't invested one penny on any of these ICOs, and I would not until I find out, if I have the investment and find out who the companies are, do they have any asset. And some of today you saw they had some of these companies that they were here, they're just using ICOs or tokenizing their platform, they already have an asset, $100 million or more.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people bought into these ICOs just because they think it's relatively cheap compared to Bitcoin. It's like, oh, this is 5 cents, and I can own like 1 million of these, great. But I think people like to own things that are that has like a tangible unit. Like, and if I have like $10,000 and I can only buy like less than 1 Bitcoin versus like 10,000 of the other token, that sounds like a better deal to me.
Yeah. No, and that's a good thing. So our point was here to the audience at home and people watching these videos, watch out for any of these ICOs. Most of them are fraud, and I'm going to be the first one to tell you that. Check the companies, find out who they are, who's the president, check their credit, do the background check. But if you are interested in the blockchain technology, whether it will work for the commercial real estate, whether it will work for the movies industry, which is transparency.
Or just investment platform in general.
Investment platform, this is just the IP. That's what it is all about. It doesn't have nothing to do with any of the raising money. So on that notion, we're going to take one question, then we're going to hand it to some good, I said, go ahead. Yeah, here, let me give you a microphone here.
So I have a technical question, but we spoke about Ethereum a lot.
Yeah.
And it's almost like everything goes to Ethereum. In other words, every new token is basically based on Ethereum because most people are not technical, are not capable of creating a new blockchain. And why would they if there is nothing to add? Not that there's nothing to add because you've got other technologies that are really faster. So have you heard about EOS and the Chinese Ethereum, basically? What do you think about
I
EOS?
think EOS. Yeah, there's different blockchains that people can build off. I think in China, Quantum is a really, really popular one. EOS, as far as I know, is still in testing stage. And interesting that you mentioned that if you want to buy EOS token, I wouldn't because they said that, hey, you're just contributing to the cost because by the time the EOS main software is released, anyone can start a EOS blockchain. You don't even need any EOS tokens to be able to have like tokens on this system. Basically, whoever has the most validator, whoever has the most users in their blockchain becomes the true quote-unquote EOS blockchain. So technically, a group or some sort of syndicate can form that they have absolutely no EOS tokens. They can still become the #1 EOS network.
Thank you, Jerry. Last word? What do you think?
If there's any question, I'll answer. The industry I know, I see great opportunity in it, and like how to apply this technology to create efficiency and great value for the companies.
For the commercial real estate, as you mean.
Yeah, commercial.
Okay, thank you very much. Then in this session, we're going to have the Dr. Think about you coming in here, sir. You're taking over. Thank you. That does look like a sleepy applause. Yeah. Saturday afternoon. Well, we're going to have a good discussion. Thank you. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. Jerry, thank you.
Thank you.